Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about happiness, and I wanted to talk about the true definition or the true feeling of happiness. Now, happiness and a lot of subjective feelings that we can perceive in the world, in this universe, are usually misinterpreted. So, for example, if I say that this is happiness, this definition and this relationship that we have with happiness can change over time. For example, if I say something about the subjective experience, for example, love, now this definition or this meaning of love can change over time. Similarly, happiness for a child is different from happiness for an adult. And in the stage of adulthood or in the stage of adolescence, the definition that we have for happiness constantly evolves over time. And when you get to old age, you realize that happiness is something completely different from what you had assumed it to be when you were young or when you were an adult. So a lot of things that we experience here, especially the things that are closely related to our subjective experience, emotions, feelings, these are subject to change. And what we call happiness right now can mean something different in the future. So then how can I properly define happiness for you? It will obviously be different from what you have defined happiness as. Even the word of knowledge or even wisdom has a completely different definition for me and for you. And if you start to evaluate and start to investigate upon this, upon the nature of your subjective definitions that you have created for yourself, then you will actually be able to see what you mean by wisdom, what you mean by knowledge, what you mean by happiness, what you mean by love. Here in this video, I wanted to talk about happiness in the sense that how a person who is closely related to spiritual tradition, who in the view is holding a mystical view of the world, that is, who thinks the world has consciousness first and then matter, then experience. So a person who holds this view is called a mystic. So I'm going to define happiness here, and in this definition, this is going to be relatable to a person who is closely related to spirituality of any kind. Now, in the esoteric traditions of a lot of Western religions, for example, Islam has Sufism, Christianity has Gnosticism, and Judaism has Kabbalah, and so on and so forth. These esoteric traditions are somehow hidden from the general public. That is, these things are somehow given a veil of mystery. But here in India, we see that Hinduism and Buddhism are some of the teachings. These are esoteric traditions openly talked about. These are not secrets that are to be had after after performing prayer for years and years. These are not secrets to be attained by a seeker after years and years of prayer and meditation. But here in the West, it is commonly taught in everywhere. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita and the knowledge in Bhagavad Gita can be is given to a person who is following the path of Islam after years and years of prayer, and it is considered as a mystery, considered as something that is a secret, whispered into the ears of the seeker. Now there is certainly wisdom behind doing this. By making something secret, you are making it making the truth value of that secret high. So if I come and whisper a secret into your ears, you will certainly believe that it is true. And the whole drama behind it, the whole drama behind the secret, is to give you the glimpse of the truth. Sometimes a person who has been trained in Islam or who has even trained in Christianity and Judaism, when things of esoteric wisdom is whispered into their ears, just in that whisper, in that moment, truth is realized. So there is certainly a wisdom behind why it is a secret, but we won't go into all of that, and let us talk about happiness now. Now, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to narrate this story a lot. This is the ironic nature of human beings. What we do is, what we usually call happiness is creating tension and releasing the tension. Now, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to narrate this story about a dog. Now, if you look closely at a dog, if you observe it for a while, you'll see that dogs usually chew on some bone. And they chew the bone, and while they are chewing the bone, they cut themselves, they cut their tongue or they cut their gums. And when this happens, the tongue releases blood. And when they taste the blood, they think that the blood is that the bone is tasty. And they keep going after that bone again and again, thinking that the bone is the cause for that taste. Fortunately, we humans do this a lot too. We go after things that give us a momentary feeling of happiness, and when the infinite ocean of happiness is accessible by us. Now, this infinite ocean of happiness is accessible by each and every one of us because it is our true nature. Sat Chit Ananda, that is our true nature. And our nature is pure bliss, it is pure happiness. And when we know ourselves as pure bliss, then happiness is always at reach. You can access happiness exactly like how you can access something that you already have. You can access it whenever you want. It doesn't even take time or effort. When you let go of all the concepts of time and effort that you usually think that is required to gain happiness, when you let go of all these false beliefs, the infinite ocean of pure bliss is accessible. So Happiness is always here. The problem is that we have false relation with the word happiness. We create tension, we create desires, and we fulfill them. There is a release of this tension. There is a release of this desire. When we find happiness, we think that happiness is this release of desire, this release of tension. This is a huge misunderstanding, and unfortunately, it is one of the most stupid misunderstandings ever. Then, when you start your spiritual journey, these identification with your subjective feelings, subjective emotions, and definitions that you have attached to your feelings start to subside. You will eventually have to question all of your aspects, all of your facets, all of your sides. And when you are on the path, you will question each and every feeling that you have. You will question happiness, you will question love, you will question intelligence, you will question will, and in this you will find wisdom. You will get to the bottom of what is it that you mean by happiness. Now in Sufism there is a term called muraqabah, which means self-reflecting. It means self-remembering. But self-reflecting is also given a huge importance in the spiritual tradition. Ramana Maharshi preached or talked about only one thing that is required to attain the highest, that is self-inquiry. When you are self-inquiring, you are going through all the definitions, all the aspects of yourself, the lower self, the higher self, the good parts, the bad parts, the animalistic nature, the divine nature. And when you go through each and every one of them, when you go through each side, you will understand what true happiness actually is. You will understand what Sat Chit Ananda means. You will understand that pure bliss, pure happiness is accessible all the time. It is your nature. It is so close to you that you don't even realize it. You don't even see it. So thank you for watching this video.